right, Human Origins part number 2. We just came back from a birthday party. Happy breathful day to Charlie again. We DJ'd, did some sound healing, some powerful space. Powerful space. So guys, we're at part number 2. Where did we leave off? We left off at the fact that diamond cuts are found in the ancient cuts. God bless Nomad. The diamond cuts, the laser cuts. Man. Have you always had good skin, or has this been a lifestyle? Oh no. Nature herself is part of that, but also, you know, being on liquids for over 5 years, I'm definitely way more hydrated than I was 10 plus years ago, for sure. I don't have breakouts anymore, you know, and also the breath lifestyle. It's not just the food lifestyle or the liquid lifestyle. It is a conscious breath lifestyle. And I'm not talking about deep breaths. I'm talking about building a relationship with your breath. Now that's even deeper than just taking deep breaths. Conscious breaths. Conscious breaths will take you a lot deeper and a lot farther than just deeper breaths. Because with deeper breaths, you're just focusing on the physical aspect to it. With conscious breaths, now you're diving deeper into, not even just diving deeper, but you're honoring breath as the many characteristics it has. When you take a breath in, take one breath in right now. You take a breath out. Is it just physical? No, it's also sound. You also get the sound of your breath. Just that alone. That alone does beautiful wonders. I'm going to give you a beautiful mental breathwork tip right now before we dive into this. If you can silence your inhales and just focus on the sound of your exhales, give me some feedback on what that's like after a couple days of consistently doing that, and how that has shifted your perspective on just quote unquote deep breaths or the mainstream breath work or any of that. Because you're honoring breath as a living entity versus just one aspect to it. That's what the mainstream breathwork does. They're just diving into one aspect of the breath, when breath is literally like water. And that's why I stay hydrated. I don't need to drink as much as the average person. It's not just deep breaths, it's actually building a connection with the breath where it brings a certain environment and awareness to building and communicating with certain technologies like scalar, etc. The breath brought me there. I will always humbly say that. The breath brought me to this understanding. Literally, because breath has seen, touched, and when you're taking a breath in and you're taking a breath out, it has also witnessed every living, breathing entity on this planet, right? So consciousness in itself is residing in the breath. That alone. Alright, I might be diving too deep in there, but let's get back to the human origins, which is the main story here, right? And this is where we left off, but I want to share what's also been going on in Egypt. So if you can tell by the drills, this is in ancient Egypt, by the way, the drilling of the hole. Do you think, what's more likely, a modern style of technology were to do that, or you think it was something as primitive as they teach in school? What do you guys think? You guys have eyes to see, ears to hear. don't have to wait for outside influence that doesn't have the best interest to gear us towards a certain consciousness. Just the fact that at least, when I see certain things like the quartz lens, right? Seeing the quartz lens it's just always a beautiful reminder to stick with natural law. Because the quartz lens alone is showing us that they were so in tune. They knew to use quartz because of the sun. As the sun comes in, you're not just looking through a glass. You're looking through minerals. You're looking through different spectrums of light. Let's also go through what quartz was also doing back then. Let's see if I can find it. Well, I don't even know if it's gonna. Well, I want to stick to the main topic here, but even looking at this, look at the symbolism. Not even the symbolism, but our ancient ancestors, they were always looking at the stars. They were also communicating with the stars to get guidance in terms of where to go, how to communicate, how to build certain things. Solomon's temple, that literally looks like a human body when you zoom out on a sky view, and you think of a primitive mind or a barbaric mind could have built that. And going back to the human origins, going back to the main topic, we may not have been here. If you guys are just joining, or if you didn't see part 1, let me at least bring this back to full context, because they are finding blocks of DNA, building blocks of DNA on meteorite. And this isn't anything new, by the way. This has been going on for years. But now you are going to see, mark my words, the next plus 10 years as more things, quote unquote, come to light. Just like they're talking about finding big bodies of water underneath Earth, then all the oceans combined. It looks like a certain map as well that the ancients had. I might do that. I might do a live just on that, just going back and forth, or make a small reel just to give you context. But it sounds and looks, if you have eyes to see, it looks like a certain ancient map. So who was in the right here? And where did we fall? I don't know. I felt like the further we went away from natural law, that's when more problems and chaos started to arise. Right? Plasma. A lot of people are looking at me with a plasma projector thinking it's man-made. Plasma is a fourth state of matter. When you see the lightning hits, if you ever see Bob Marley play as well, there's a certain video with Bob Marley, and he was just diving deep into his spirit, then lightning, boom, hits the stage, cuts off all the power. What do you think that is? That's invoking the plasma within and invoking so much energy in one point. Lightning hits on the exterior void or reality that we live in, and we know that there is no such thing as space. We live in quantum foam, as the scientific term is quoted, right? So everything is literally connected, and with quantum foam, they observe that everything is going in and out, in and out. What does that sound like? The breath, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. The breath resides in every dimension of reality. And I'm not just talking about air. I'm talking about the aspect, just a foundational layer of contrast. That's what it represents. It's not just about taking a deep breath. Conscious breaths here. Are you using sound? Are you using color? There's so many layers of what the breath represents. Everyone wants to put it in a box. It doesn't deserve to be in a box. It deserves your every attention in your waking moment, how you're utilizing it when you're driving a car, how you're utilizing it I've actually worked with car racers 2 years ago. I worked with a group. Now, I've signed an NDA. I'm not going to say which, but actually, I'm going to give you a hint. Netflix. That's all the hint I'm going to give you. And notice their meditative breathing patterns before they go out and race. Okay? I will say that. So, using literally breathing like you have it, if you get what I mean. Breathing like you have it. You get what I mean? Alright, so going back to human origins. DNA, the DNA don't lie. And like I said, you are going to see more and more articles relating to how they're quote-unquote finding. No, all of a sudden we're finding DNA on the meteorite. No. Since the 70s, since the 60s, since the 40s, they've been finding DNA on meteorite. It's just not mainstream. They've been finding DNA. And there's even certain theories with certain big name scientists out there that the aspect of alien origin when it comes to just the water. How the water here, like water has memory, right? It tells a deep, deep story of the origin of where it's from. And as technology gets even more advanced, we will, mark my words, we will be able to go in the ocean, take the ocean, put it in a water reader, not even a water reader, but a molecular, I don't even know what to call it or term it, but it's just in my head. And it'll be able to give you a deep history of the water's composition, how many times it's been cycled over, that's going to be one. How many times it's been quote-unquote breathed in. I give that maybe 50, 60 years, 70, getting to that point of finally seeing, or not even seeing, but feeling and just witnessing what I've been saying for over years. How when you walk into a building, it's a composition of breaths. Think about it. The breathing, the amount of breaths it took for that worker to pull down every layer of brick. Why doesn't that count? That counts for something. Shoot, that counts for the building block of the body. You are literally a building block of breaths. How your father was breathing, how your mother was breathing 9 months even before you were even conceived, even way before that, all comprised in the DNA. DNA and breath, they go hand in hand. I shared that. Well, it's been proven already with the aspect of how your mouth is and your jawline, how it's actually structured. Your breathing pattern shifts your jawline and your whole skeletal structure. So what does that tell you? Down to the bone, your breathing is affecting the skeletal structure. So if it's down to the bone where blood is actually made from the bone, yes, stem cells, it's all there, look into it. If it's like that, then it's all the way deep into the DNA. How you breathe is how you live, and how you breathe is how you are physically, spiritually, soundly, is comprised and structured within this reality that you call life. They all come together. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. There's no escaping it. And it's not just air. It represents, again, contrast. This is deeper than just a deep breath. So, I say that to say, there's an ancient civilization back then Hold on, maybe I can find it. If you guys have the patience with me, I can find it. I might just do a separate live and maybe call it Human Origins Part 3 and just bring everything together. But now it's coming into mind. But back then there was a civilization where you could just tell it's also older than the pyramids, and they don't get talked about as much, and somewhere connected to Africa and India. And this civilization, their statues, you could tell the statues, their arms were out like this, their chest was puffed, and you could tell their stomach was sucked in, taking a very conscious breath. Like they're actually that's where quote unquote yoga is actually stemmed from. All the different yoga poses you see today, it's actually stemmed from that one civilization. Where that one civilization didn't just go into different yoga poses. No, that one civilization did one yoga pose for hours and breathe back and forth with that one pose. With that one yoga pose. And that's how yoga, then it got, in my opinion, watered down. It got watered down into different aspects. And maybe that's part of why when you go into different yoga poses and depending on your body composition, that's why people get hurt. Why aren't yoga people talking about that? I mean, that's a great selling point for if you are a yoga instructor, to tell your people that, hey, did you know thousands of people get injured in yoga? But we know our friend Mila, she got injured and had to do a hip replacement. I'm like, a hip replacement for what? Oh, I was doing yoga. I'm like, oh. You know how many yoga teachers I get per year talking about when I'm in this pose, I can actually feel like my breath, like I just noticed my breath isn't on point. Yeah, because even before the yoga pose, yoga in general, I'm talking about the physical aspect of it where you're seeing different poses, kinetic yoga included, they were built to extend the breath. They were built to extend the breath. The breath is the first yoga. All those different poses and angles came afterwards. It's to extend the breath. So I'm going to give you a beautiful tip to start. If you even don't do yoga, or if you can do one stretch, do it for at least an hour and just breathe only with the nose for 1 hour. In that one stretch, and see how that one stretch or that one yoga pose, if you do practice yoga poses, or if you're a yoga teacher or yoga, whatever, that one, and hey, it's not just yoga. Let's go into Qigong or Qigong. That one pose, that one stance, can you stay there in 1 hour? You know how comfortable I got to standing on needles? You know why that is? Because I could use that consciousness. Now this is go deeper than just a deep breath here. Let's dive deep into this. It's not my pain tolerance, no. The reason how I can stand on needles for as long as I want to, it's not my pain tolerance. I can connect my breath to a point in time where I was consciously connected to my breath, to have a deep connection to my body, allowing me, keyword allowing, that aspect of consciousness to not fall deep into a fear base or a shocking aspect to the body saying that this is hurting me or pain. I am connecting to different aspects of neurons, and we're gonna go over this, how shout out to Neuroflex. They did brain scans on me a couple days ago, and he could tell immediately that I can influence gamma waves at will, utilizing conscious breath, not just deep breaths here. We're talking about conscious breaths. Color breathing, like the whole aspect of mental breath work. I can go in on this for hours. I don't have much time, but it's deeper than physical, people. It is honoring reality at every dimensions. You can't see the air, right? But you breathe it in. You know it's there, right? You can't see stress, but it's built up over time to causing you the pain, causing you the mental insecurities, causing you a certain cycle of pain, and not just that, attracting certain things in your life. All connecting with your breathing. Being in one yoga pose and breathing into it for some time feels like how we'd astral project. Now you're getting it. I'm gonna pin that one. You know why? Because as you're breathing deeper and deeper, now you're connecting with the electrical aspect. When you see a tree and you see the markings in the tree, right? And the what looks like veins. Trees also looks like veins. When I blast a plasma projector, right? That literally looks like a tree. At least the outline of a tree. So when you're in that pose for hours, keyword hours, now you're breathing into different dimensions of your muscle, but as above, so below. Now consciousness, the magnetic aspect of your being is also being, I can go deeper and deeper into this, like layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. And that's why I feel strongly, if you're diving into alchemy breathwork, don't just focus on the aspect of technique. Go to mental breathwork first. Mental breathwork will open your mind. I'm not going to say blow your mind, but open your mind to, here's another dimension of reality that a lot of people may not have, or not may be privy to. Your shadow. You ever think to consider your shadow is another form of dimension of reality? Your shadow. Think of it, light. And your shadow, that's you. That's your outline. That's you. That's your aura. That's your aura right there. If you can't see colors and stuff like that, that's your aura right there. Start there. Start there. All right, guys. I think I said enough here. And let's connect it back to the human origins, right? So if we're diving deeper into different dimensions of reality, now we can connect to different planets. And different planets then connect to different beings on those planets. Not just the planets here in Earth, but also Jesus talked about that. Buddha talked about it. A lot of well-known yogis, etc., has also talked about it. Muhammad also talked about it. You can name me any top tier religious people, light or spiritual, etc., in one form or another, they have talked about being in communication. Angles, even angels. Think about it. Angles of light. What is light? Light is also information. We're stepping into an age where you can use laser therapy to heal your body, right? Does that connect the dots with certain things in the Bible? Not just certain things in the Bible, but certain things in the Quran as well. Not just certain things in the Quran, but all these beautiful ancient texts. You don't need to fit them in a box and allow them to, literally, when you're following the breath is your first connection to the all that is. Let's never forget that. Before the book even came to be, did we not forget the source that we came out? Before any written text, any word was spoken, when we came into this reality, what did we do? The first language. And I'm going to remind everyone, if I go to a foreign country and I'm there convulsing and I'm like panicking and breathing, you don't have to tell me in Japanese, or you don't have to tell me in an African lingo that person right there needs help. Your mirror neurons and how you feel, because that person, you can obviously feel it at that point in time. You know, the body talks. The body is the first language. The breath is also the first language, because you needed the baseline breath to move this vehicle, to even give layers to this vehicle that we call the body. So if we're diving into different dimensions of ourselves, then in terms of communication with other planets, other beings, but other aspects of healing, etc., becomes more wide open. Because you're connecting with source more than the exterior, you could say. And the breath has touched and seen everything in your body, right? So when it comes to scalar technology, etc., etc., the breath got me there in the first place. And the fact that I can feel more energy being in these spaces while utilizing the breath as a compass to tell me whether or not this is dense, that is lighter, that's more healing. The breath is the number one compass. When you eat certain foods, notice how your breathing changes. The body doesn't lie. Words do, but the body doesn't lie. The breath doesn't lie either. So I say that to say, have a breathful day. And I feel like a part 3 is definitely in the works of bringing that ancient civilization and the fact that they were way advanced in terms of their plumbing system, not even their plumbing system, but a certain system that is mirrored till this day, which still scientists are scratching their heads looking at their system. And their main system, I want to say, is the breath, because they have statues showing how the stomach is carved in and their chest is puffed out. They made an emphasis that the breath, it was a more breath conscious society, if you will. And with a more breath conscious society leads to more breath conscious tools, more breath conscious products, more breath conscious connection to each other. Less war, less famine. We can go on and on. It's all connected to the breath that is, and the all that is, if you want to call it God, Allah, Jesus. Why not breathe all of that in? Peace and harmony, guys.